Dave Meltzer. It is time for a Dave Meltzer, a delicious, a delectable Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. For 5K, baby, the 5K Meltzer moment, baby. Let's go. Starting January, AEW will be extremely profitable. So remember he's saying that, right? So the Observer reports that WWE's comp ticket policy was changed as TKO increased revenue goals and because the demands for tickets remain high. Okay, there you go. So Dave admitting some, and we'll see throughout this, admitting the opposite sort of for AEW as he does. So let's move along here. So Dave's Jade Cargill injury news from this morning's Observer. Thank you, Meltzer said what, who has been sending me just bags of gold when it comes to Meltzer here. So on 11/22, there was a storyline phantom attack on Cargill, shown laid out on a broken car windshield and, Ashi and taken in an ambulance to the, hospital Tony Khan. We were told that Cargill is expected out of action for 3 months or possibly longer. We've gotten 3 different versions of the story from those in WWE. One was that, as is usual the case with WWE parking lot attacks, that it's a storyline cover for a real injury. However, this one has kept secretive. This one has been kept secretive. One person in WWE mentioned to us that it seems like nobody, including her friends, knows what the injury actually is or why it happened. Another higher up said 100%. So, okay, listen to how he says this. One person in WWE mentioned that it seems like nobody, including her friends, knows what the injury actually is. So then that's not a source. Why even tell us that? And then another higher up. So another higher up, meaning like, are you insinuating the other guy was a higher up too? Or are you just saying like another higher up in the company said 100% that she is injured and the stories denying it are false?
Oh, God.
Okay, so nobody knows. So you have someone in the company said no one knows, but then a higher up said, who should presumably know, says it's 100%. So why the don't you report it's 100% an injury? I don't get what he's trying to do here. Another version. So WWE higher ups, he's admitting, so they're just giving you versions of stories, and you're just running with them,
whatever they
telling
say.
every version of every story. So that means you don't really have a story. You're just speculating. So just say, not the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You say, this is the Wrestling Spectator Speculation
Guest letter.
Yeah, guest letter of the week. Okay. That's what you call it. Dave's Guess Monthly, right?
Yeah.
Another version is that the injury was created to cover for a political backstage issue. So again, Dave, a useful idiot, as Bischoff coined the term. He just gets handed 3 different stories, and then he just reports them all. And then it's actually none of the 3, though. It'll be because what we said, probably she's in a Super Bowl commercial or something.
Right, exactly.
And they're just filming it quick. Yeah, low key under wraps. Like it'll be because it's something like that.
It was just to make sure she didn't get hurt in WarGames, so she could film something. Like it's fine. It's part of the storyline.
Some shit like that. Exactly, bro. Yeah. It's just something so simple, man. And then Dave goes on to speculate. For this story to be accurate, the Cargill and Belair tag team would have to be broken up to give credence to that one. What? If the team is put back together, that would refute that story. What story? That Belair attacked her? What story? If it's an injury? What the fuck are you talking about? Dave's just, the story doesn't make sense unless this thing I made up. Well, but if it isn't, that would lend credence to that aspect of it. Either way, Cargill and Belair will obviously have to give up their women's tag titles. So one would expect, obviously, Dave, do they? Because they haven't. Expect some form of tournament, which is yet to be announced. And yeah, okay, probably some form of tournament. WWE's doing the lazy, we're doing tournaments, pal. I'm so tired of these right now. I don't know.
At least theirs makes sense and don't have to do math, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, Dave's great speculation there. Amazing stuff there by Dave.
Observer guest letter. Good Lord.
And Meltzer says the AEW Brisbane show has been moved to the indoor Brisbane Entertainment Center. And then on Black Friday, he goes, we have a 50% off Black Friday sale through midnight for 1 month of full coverage newsletters and podcasts. 50% off for a month. Early Black Friday for the Observer. $7.49, please. Yeah.
For 1 month. A 1 month sale. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, you gotta love it, man. Good job.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Meltzer says there are more than 300 college and pro teams in a number of sports who are clients of this company. So Raj Giri and Dave Meltzer get into a little fight, right? And Raj says, how successful is the Jaguars if they're 2-9? And Meltzer goes, there are more than 300 college and pro teams in a number of sports who are clients of his company. Clients of whatever company he's talking about, right?
I'm assuming Tony's numbers company that he runs, in air quotes.
Right. And then Raj Giri goes, isn't the whole point of analytics to win games, or did I misread Moneyball? And I hope TK isn't helping 300 teams win games when his dad's $5 billion franchise is in the gutter.
Wow.
Yo, exactly. Cook 'em. Like, that's the problem with fucking Meltzer. He just crashes and burns every time. He just doesn't know what he's just in above his head.
Pokes the wrong bear, man.
Yeah. But here we go. So this guy, Lifer WWE, says Dave Meltzer gave the Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher match at Full Gear 2024 a higher star rating than Razor versus Michaels at Mania X, Ricky versus Macho Man at Mania 3, Bret Hart versus Owen at SummerSlam 94, Bret versus Stone Cold at 13, Michaels versus Taker in Your House 97, Punk John Cena Money in the Bank 2011. It's like, how dare you, Dave? Ray versus Eddie at Halloween Havoc 97, Hogan versus Rock at 18, which is the greatest wrestling match in pro wrestling history, HBK and Taker at both Manias. He rated lower than Ospreay and Fletcher Brubs. It's insane, bro.
That hurts my head. What? You lost me. What?
Listen to this. Every Kurt Angle match ever.
Yeah, no, right?
Any Ric Flair versus Rick Steamboat match ever.
The greatest trilogy of all time. The greatest trilogy of all time.
And here's a response from one, I believe, the Hitman.
That is it's the work of an idiot. Pathetic, really stupid idiots. Are you an idiot? Lost idiot. He was you always be seen as a
God damn that Bill Goldberg.
As a complete failure. The term would have crossed my mind pretty regular. Thanks for nothing. Go show.
Let's go.
Goddamn Bill Goldberg. Oh, it's my favorite.
Hitman's still cooking. So Dave Meltzer talks. We've been chronicling like Disco Inferno's like sicko wars with Dave Meltzer here for a while. And so Glenn Gilberti. So Gilberti responds to Meltzer, tags him in something. And he says, like, anyone cares if a guy worth $8 billion makes a profit. Meltzer's pretending. And that's the thing, too. Meltzer keeps going, they'll be the most profitable wrestling company. It's like, that doesn't mean the story's good. No one cares that a billionaire is making a bunch of billions or whatever. Like, that's not going to win the argument of the show's bad. The talent aren't trained up to snuff. You're hiring people for too much money than they're worth. So even if that is the case, which is a Dave Meltzer goddamn lie, we know he's liar about this. They'll be extremely profitable. I don't know about all that, bro. You lied before, Meltzer. But anyway, so Glenn says, like anyone cares, Meltzer's pretending there's a considerable amount of relevant people that do. It's not true. He's lying. And then Meltzer goes, sorry, reality broke your brain. Projection, bro. Dave is bro. Reality broke your brain, homie. He goes, maybe if you pass second grade math, you wouldn't call something obvious a lie.
Wow.
I mean, we all know your gimmick and laugh about it, but at least stay somewhere near reality. So I like spicy Dave, man. Dave's like fucking, hey, Disco. And I like spicy Dave, man. He's piping back. I like when he fires up. He gives us the cringe, his goofy ass responses. Sorry, reality broke your brain. Like, oh man, it's such projection. And then he's like, we all laugh about your gimmick. Like it was a joke comedy gimmick, bro. And we all laugh about it behind the scenes. Who? You and Alvarez and the Bucks are sitting there laughing about Disco, and I thought he didn't matter. Why do you care what he's got to say then if he's just an old washed up podcaster? You know what I mean? And then at least stay somewhere near reality. Meanwhile, Dave's on Pluto. Dave's in another dimension on a Lego Pluto planet, playing with papers and toys, And then this Chris Hanover guy says Disco Inferno is one of the worst gimmicks in pro wrestling history. He was embarrassing to watch, worse than Mike Awesome's gimmicks in WCW, which is really saying something. Yeah, no, dude. Disco is better than Mike Awesome's gimmicks, which is saying something because Awesome was in ECW, bro, and in Japan. Here's the other thing. Disco grabbed ratings. Meltzer admitted that. And also, Glenn Gilberti quote tweets it and owns this and says, here's the Observer Awards for Best Gimmick. And let's take a look. And I actually want to read these. So in 89, Jushin Liger won Best Gimmick. Amazing. 90 through 94, Undertaker had the Best Gimmick.
Because Undertaker only debuts in early, like late 90. He debuts like at Survivor Series 1990. So he got it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's how much of an impact he made, dude.
Yeah.
And then
it got me. That hooked me so hard. I was a fan for life.
And then in 95, he said Disco Inferno, dude, was the gimmick of the year. And then NWO in 96, Stone Cold in 97, 98, The Rock in 99, Angle in 2000, good pull. The Hurricane, what's up with that? In 2001, Matt Hardy in 02 when he did the E1. I love that.
Me too.
Version 1 Matt Hardy. John Cena in 03, of course. Bradshaw Layfield, good job, Meltzer, for real, because JBL, that gimmick was so good. I don't care what anyone says. Mr. Kennedy, was that the gimmick? Like, to me...
Well, aren't these voted on by Observer readers? I feel like
you're right. And then LAX for TNA as well. Boom, dude.
And he hates TNA, so he wouldn't have voted for that. He absolutely wouldn't have voted for it. But the Observer readers did.
But Disco Fever. Yeah, and then AEW Defender goes, so now the Wrestling Observer is important? Too funny. And this how much he's a bubbling. Like so many, he just gets 29 likes because nobody can come comment that he doesn't like and be like, you're a dumb. You know what I mean? There's no reason he gets 29 likes. Like Disco has all these haters. And no, dude, it's not that the Observer's important. It's missing the point. Glenn owns him there because it's like, dude, you're missing the point. And then don't forget this gem. This is from K100. They go, with the Monday Night Wars still in full swing, Dave decides to take a look at who draws ratings and why. And the top rating draw is Disco Inferno. He's followed by Piper, Jericho, Austin, Alex Wright, rounding out the top 5. The worst, Scott Hall, followed by the Headbangers, Jarrett the Steiners, and Steve McMichael. So literally, the Observer was reporting that Disco was during what some could argue the peak of the Monday Night Wars in full swing. Maybe not the peak of the wars, but the wars were in full swing. He writes it right here. Who is topping who draws ratings? Disco Inferno. Because he's a good-ass gimmick. It's that simple. So it's not even about the
deal. It worked.
Yeah, it's not even about the Observer being important or not. It's about just what Dave's saying then and then what he's saying now. Because he's not consistent in his, we've proven it time and time.
His brain is completely melted over time. There was a time where he made some sense and then just he lost it. And now he's saying reality broke other people's brain. It's complete projection.
So Meltzer criticizes TNA and goes, John Hendry is in the turkey suit match. I mean, I know that. Just seeing it in the graphic is like, did somebody miss the boat so badly they creatively drowned in the ocean? I feel like an astronaut in the ocean, actually. Brian, what you know about rolling down in the deep, Brian? Tony Khan. John Hendry is in the turkey suit match. Guys, I broke this down on my TNA Hired or Fired. Go and check that out if you haven't. It was a really fun time. I broke it down, right? Joe Hendry goes viral, and it's the turkey match because it's one of the things that, like, it's like when the pumpkin was put on Ethan's head and then tricked to hit the flying knee. Like, all these turkey matches have a moment like that. You have Joe Hendry involved in it. He typically goes viral again. People are missing the boat on this. There has to be ebbs and flows. He's with TNA till the end of next year. He will get the title. But ultimately, he's doing Eurovision. He's got these other like really big, huge things going on. Just chill and wait. And trust me, he's never really fallen off. I believe in Joe Hendry. I know all you sicko marks who pretend you love all wrestling, but you really don't. Hey, that I believe in Joe Hendry is years old already. By the time it came to NXT and WWE, it was already over. Hey, it was already super over with people who were like, pay attention to pro wrestling, like outside of the AEW bubble. I know it used to be, oh, if you pay attention outside the WWE bubble, WWE's like, okay, we're going to make our audiences pay attention outside of our bubble. Now AEW's mad. Oh, what about us?
Always under attack.
Yeah, dude. What happened to the whole bubble thing? So you guys are in a bubble. You don't realize John Hendry. You guys don't know John Hendry? No, but like, y'all don't know John Hendry was already popping though, like before with the say his name and he appears and the wave your hands. That was already like a hit and then kind of teetered off and then became a hit again. So it's just like, don't worry.
He had that match with Drew McIntyre before Drew McIntyre came back to WWE. Yeah. Where he was like doing the gimmick where that was when he was and he still does it, where he does the parody songs. And like you see the video because Drew's trying to be a heel and he has to cover his face with his hair because he's dying laughing because he's does the blue dabba dee dabba die, but it's with Drew. That was what, 2017?
Yeah, that's years
that was
ago.
Before Drew came
almost
back
a decade. Almost a decade he's been doing parody songs like. Yeah.
He's got it down. So, he's got it down to a science. That's why that song it's less than 2 minutes long, but it's like two completely different songs. It's got the fun part and then the guitar part. It's perfect.
Well, speaking of how does anybody love that show, we have more Glenn Gilberti versus Dave Meltzer stuff. And
yes,
Meltzer says, sorry, reality broke your brain. Maybe if you passed second grade math. So we covered that. And then Glenn responds to another quote tweet and goes, AEW is having trouble drawing enough viewers to fill seats for their TV tapings. I can't even do it, Glenn Gilberti. Next year's TV rights deal does not have any effect on that immediate problem. So I'm not exactly sure how reality broke my brain when you sound like the one with the broken brain. And yeah, it's that true. It's true. It's damn true. It's real. It's goddamn real, or whatever he said in GCW, right? Wrestle purists quote
projection.
Dave Meltzer.
It's real projection.
Yeah, dude, projection. And so Wrestle purists say they quote Meltzer, who goes, "We were told to expect more WWE talent on the indies over the next year." Oh, so you mean like how they've been all over the indies all this whole year, and now you're told to expect more of that after they just launched a WWE ID program for independent wrestlers? No way. Tell me more. $12.90, $7.49, please. Sorry, it's
all right for the next month. It's my bad. Black Friday.
And this is when Meltzer just loses touch with reality. I think we covered this before, but this guy goes, Dave Meltzer has no clue what success actually is. He throws the word around and makes up scenarios and changes definitions so he can seem like he's so much smarter than everyone else. You're a clown, Dave. And Meltzer goes, I'm smart enough to know that when I'm wrong, I learn from it rather than dig my heels in and become more wrong.
That's all you do.
Whoa. Yeah,
you what?
Whoa. And then he goes, once
Literal
the TV deal was signed, the question was answered as far as the wrestling franchise was concerned. He just loves AEW, this guy.
So much, dude.
It's pretty crazy, man.
It's sad. It's sad how much he loves Tony and the Bucks. It's just it's embarrassing. And Ospreay too, I guess.
Wrestle Magazine. Yeah, don't forget, bruv. Wrestle Magazine. Screen grabs Al Bundy here, throw in a football, and then it's Dave Meltzer responding to Jim Valley. And Jim Valley goes, why must you torment me, Dave? And then Meltzer goes, you tormented me by pointing out the jacket that I had family. Okay. You tormented me by pointing out the jacket that I had family that thought it was ugly. What the?
His brain is just gone.
You tormented me by pointing out the jacket that I had family that thought it was ugly, not realizing the status value of it. Everything's like, what?
It's
so now he's like,
text. That's how he talks.
My jacket got a 3-year TV deal with Warner. It has extreme value. By 2027, actually, my jacket will be worth $7 million. It's great. Tony Khan. But I still have my national jacket for being on the all-star team of sports writers. Oh,
the best guys, Tony Khan.
I am douche chilling. Oh, do you guys feel that, chat? Jake, do you feel that like in your spine?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in your tummy, goes into your arms. Oh my God,
Gets
that
me in the
cringe.
fingertips a lot of times. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
Deep down
man, that's just douche chills. But I still have my national jacket for being on the all-star team of sports writers. Is he being serious or is he joking?
I feel like he made one for himself. Like he went and got the
gold green jacket.
Like he bought himself
gold
a jacket,
green jacket. Who gives it?
Nice.
Gold
Good
jacket,
pull.
green jacket. Who gives it? Yeah. Here we go. So Dave Meltzer on the crowd reaction to Jericho versus Ishii on last night's Dynamite. It's the reality of AEW. The same thing on the pay-per-view. If this match was at an AEW show 1 year ago, even the people would have gone crazy for the match. No, they wouldn't have from the start. But now they have to work so hard to get the crowd going. At least he's admitting it. Oh, I guess that's a smart Meltzer moment.
Well, what didn't he give it 4 stars though?
Did he give this match 4 stars when they slapped each other? Holy fuck. Well, we got a lot more Meltzer to get to, so I'm sure we'll come across.
I've seen that, but I could be wrong.
That at some point.
Someone could have made it up, but I don't know.
Yeah, so he just says like they have to work so hard to get the crowd going. Well, when it's 2 old sub 50 guys just slapping each other like 2 drunk uncles out of
2 segments
Tijuana on a Mexican Christmas. Yeah, it's like, what the going on here, man? This is crazy. Meltzer acting like he has sources inside of WWE in 2024. Meltzer says, if I told you. So this guy goes, what was the point of Rock's return at Bad Blood? And it's like to show up at Bad Blood and remind you all that he's going to come again sooner or later, that he will just show up out of nowhere. That's literally the point.
Yes, exactly.
To let you know he's always watching, and he's not letting go of any vendetta. He still has the people in mind that he wants to take out. And like, what do you guys think?
Cody and Roman were teaming. Yeah, there was a lot there.
So stupid, man. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
and,
like
and
people
then
who really
goes,
think he's not going to be at Mania. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know, dude. And then Meltzer make-believing here. If I told you that one, there would be a meltdown. Like he knows anything. Like, really? Like when you got, Alpha's dead or what? Sika's dead and he's not really dead, but like, the Rock's family or what, bud? Dewey, do you, Dave? Huh? Dewey, do you? Dummy Dave over here, right? So he doesn't know. No one told him. His guess would make you lose your mind because it's something stupid.
Well, which higher up is going to give him the story this time? And I say higher up in air quotes.
Friend of the show, Ref MJ from NJ.
Yes.
Dropping bombs earlier. Drops a Meltzer bomb and says, I take great offense to this tweet. I spent $400 in Super Chat supporting pro wrestling content creators this past month. I also paid the caddy $200 on Tuesday. I also made my own money. Daddy wasn't a billionaire. Do you think Dave knows who Shad Khan is or just Tony? And so this woman here, I'm assuming Grima, that seems like a female name, so I'll just say this lady here. People with sub $200 on their debit cards be here talking about a billionaire being a very, very poor businessman. This app is something else. This is what I mean. It's like a bow down. They go, oh, the WWE sheep. No, you guys are sheep, bro. Like, you're not questioning authority. You're not questioning power. Like, okay, yes, when has it become cringe for average, everyday people to question the power and the people who control all the money in an industry or just in the world in general? It's what we've all done. Like, what are you talking about? That's what you do. It's what people have done since the beginning of the time. So I don't know, man. It just seems cringe. Like, you're more sheepish. Oh, don't question a billionaire. Billionaires can't luck into billions and invent things and then not really know what to do business-wise, right? Like, you can't invent something, get really rich, buy a bunch of, and then put your son in charge of businesses he has no idea how to run. That could never happen, right? That's never happened in the world. What is this guy talking about? So Meltzer's like, especially one who built a successful analytics company. So he built a successful math company of people who do math for sports, right? And he built it with his dad's money doing math, which if I had $1 billion, anyone who knows how to do math could do that, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, you can't crunch the analytics. If I studied it, I could, right? Math is something literally anyone can learn if they study, okay? You don't even need
care about investment.
You don't even need working legs or arms to do math. You know what I mean? Anyone can do math to some degree. So yes, he started an analytics company with his dad's money. That's awesome.
Anyone his dad doesn't care about losses, so
anyone can cook a
pumped a
cheeseburger
bunch of money
too.
into it.
If I had $1 billion, I could start a cheeseburger company too. It doesn't know how to run it, right? I might cook a mean burger, but it's like, man, it's just he misses the point every time. But yeah, he's like major sports teams used to prior to building a successful Major League Pro Wrestling business from scratch, something no single person still living has ever done. So Triple H, Vince McMahon, none of these people use stats and analytics to build their fucking company. Vince McMahon used zero stats and analytics to buy WWE and then turn it into this big conglomeration, and then Triple H takes it over and he uses no analytics. That's why they just took a wild guess and signed this Netflix deal. That's why they're so white hot. They're just lucking out and doing old wrestling and doing comedy stuff for low IQ dumb trailer park. Is that it, Dave? Or is it that you don't know what you're talking about? You're a goddamn idiot. No single person still living has ever used analytics and statistics and analytics companies to help their sports teams.
Do you think Nick Khan has done since he showed up?
Cuban's never used an analytic company to help him and the Mavericks get better in the history of man. Are you sure about that, buddy? Do we need a fact check you on that, buddy? Holy man, this is the that drives me mad here. It's like, bro, amazing. This round of applause for just this tweet in general, man. Like, my God, fantastic. Yeah, oh my God, it's orgasmic how good this one is right here, dude. No single person living has ever done that. Really? Never. An analytic company. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Does he not know what Nick Khan does? Like, that's literally what Nick Khan was brought in to do, and why he's the biggest. Like, Vince leaving is probably the biggest overall difference, but it's Nick Khan is what's been driving this whole thing. Yeah. He's like
UFC never brought in analytic people,
right?
They never have done that. No, there's never been a sports analysis company that crunched numbers anywhere ever before, or just person or line of work in general. Like, what the f*** are you talking about?
He just says some random crap. Like, that's I can't.
So Meltzer talks about there not being blood in WarGames this year, and it's like, could you be any more of a mark? Who gives a if there's blood in the WarGames match? Like, yes, it can elevate it, but this is just such like when Vince we get blood almost every Raw and SmackDown, it feels like. So what, like, whether it's hard way or not. So what are we talking about? This is like such a like Vince McMahon era WWE conversation to even have. So anyways, though, there's no blood in WarGames this year. I know some people complained about that, actually. Who? Like you and your friends? I know some people complained about that. Where? On X. When I say, dude, there's a lot of people attacking on X, this thing or whatever, I quantify it. You can't just say, I know some people complain. Yeah, I know some people who don't like tomatoes on their sandwich. Like, what are we fucking talking about here? That's crazy. Like, how does this pertain to anything that we should care about? Who are these some people? Are they the ruler emperors of the world? Is it Uatu the Watcher and the Watchers? You know, like what? Who is it? What is it? But anyways, he goes, because there was no blood in the WarGames. Who, man, on Twitter, like your Twitter bubble? And since they do blood, I kind of get that one, because it's like, if you know that they're never doing blood and you complain that they're not doing blood, as people used to do in WarGames or in cage matches when Vince was in charge and there was a no blood policy, I was like, you already know there's a no blood policy. Don't complain about it. It is what it is. But now the fact is, it's not a no blood policy. This is the cringiest. Like, only a kid in the 6th grade gives about this. Now the fact is, it's not a no blood policy, and they did have a WarGames. 1 and 1 makes 2. Brian, did you not know that?
Everybody's
did do
got
these
a first
things,
name,
and they did have no blood. And so, to me, you did have the mental right to expect blood in a WarGames match. Why? Why though? It's so dumb. I just, oh my God,
because there was blood in Hell in a Cell. So you had to have it here. You didn't need to. It was the match didn't need it.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, man. He peddles this out, then all the brain rot just push this around the IWC, and it gets sick out there. But he's like, it's WarGames match, and they do blood. He says do again. So I do understand the criticism, and I get that one. Dave, you're the most like
worst ever.
Yeah, like you're the most worst ever. But it's like, dog, of course you have to understand, like you understand this criticism that's like a minute nothing burger of a, he's pretty much saying it at the start too. Well, I know it's like nothing, but, and it's like, dude, this is a nothing burger of a thing to be concerned about at all. And like you could be critical of things like this and the criticisms people bring up of AEW that are actually more glaring, that actually affect it, right? And you could be more critical of those things, but instead you don't. And that's why you're a laughing stock, because you're only taking it and going, oh, you know, I do get that one. I get this criticism. So you get this one menial, benign criticism of WWE, but like important criticisms of AEW, you explain away magically. Whereas I could just simply go, well, they just didn't have blood. There you go. There's no explanation. It doesn't need a whole report card. They just didn't do blood. There you go. Bronson broke his ankle.
Samoans were in the match.
Yeah.
Samoans don't bleed usually.
Yeah, Samoans don't bleed. Punk didn't want to blade. There you go.
Didn't need it. Quick. The match was amazing.
Yeah, we're trying to keep Punk healthy as possible. That means cuts included. God forbid. You know, the WrestleMania season. It's that simple, bro. So we continue along with Disco going at
yes, please.
Other people, I guess, who are all, you know, it ties into the Meltzer stuff. So Beef Soup Dinner. So shout out Soup here. He goes, the other thing I'm sick of hearing from Dave and Fightful is that AEW is profitable. They're hell bent on pushing that narrative without providing proof. They sound like CNN. And it's basically that. It's just basically any new Fox, whatever.
Right.
It just
they all have their agendas.
It's the mainstream gatekeeper media, and that's what I call out all the time with the sheets. It's Dave. It's all you guys know. The sheets we're calling out here. They block you if they don't like you. If you don't like AEW, then you're not welcome, or you're critical of anything, and you know what I mean. You get gay. So it's the same thing as like in all media, actually. You know, what I'm doing, what we're doing now in pro wrestling, this is already sort of done in MMA media like a while back, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's crazy because in MMA to this day, they're like, you know, Dave Meltzer's pretty reputable. I'm trying to do an MMA guru accent, but even Guru, it's like, bro, I love you, Guru, but Meltzer's not reputable. Like, yes, he knows he gets good access to like ticket sale numbers. And that's why in the wrestling world, he's ruined his reputation because he won't admit. Yeah, he won't admit that like he can't talk about ticket sales. He has to find all these spins to defend AEW because the stuff he actually has access to, which is TV ratings and ticket numbers, they don't favor AEW. So he's always putting a spin, and that's why he's become a clown. But anyways, Gilberti responds and goes, like anyone cares if a guy worth $8 billion makes profit. Oh, this is what got Dave upset. He's lying. He knows lying. He's a dishonest person. Breaking news, Meltzer is firing up the excuses machine. So here's for last week's Dynamite rating. Meltzer goes, AEW did 536K, a 0.15 on Wednesday, 5 p.m. on the West Coast is part of it, but that you know, that doesn't explain the entire drop. More to come. So it doesn't explain the entire drop because the West Coast, that's part of it. So there's multiple factors, but for NXT, it's like, oh, they suck. Oh, pretty good. There was a basketball game, not playoffs or anything, just a game, you know. So it's always just some. Anyways, Dave, for so that terrible one. I tweet this out sometimes. Smart Meltzer too, still Meltzer, but he goes, I think Cody leaving helped WWE more, but I think the Punk situation hurt AEW more. Yeah, you're right. Everyone knows that. At least you're being honest about it, but it's not like some compelling that someone had to ask you. Or like whatever.
One really begat the other. I think if Cody stays, the Punk situation probably doesn't get nearly as bad.
Yeah, but I do agree with Dave. I mean, that is true. And then he responds to this guy and goes, I always felt it was a long-term negative. Khan would argue that point and has. So he's saying Tony Khan would argue the point and has to Meltzer that. Wonder what happened 8 months ago. Hint, hint, the CM Punk footage. The cloud looms over still. So Meltzer admitting as well, like, yo, I thought it would have been a long-term negative to show the footage. Khan still and has argued that no, for the long term, that was a good idea. So I love when Dave peels the curtain back on dummy Tony. Like, Tony, you for real think and have tried to argue with a straight face to these, a wide-eyed straight face, that like, this was in any way
the best guys, Tony Khan.
To play that Punk footage, bro. That is insanity. You know,
white nose, straight face.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, come on now. Oh, Jake, that's not very fair. No.
Yeah, somebody had to say it. I'll take it.
This was on Thanksgiving, mind you. Okay.
Oh, God.
So this is Dave defending AEW on Thanksgiving for this poor ass Dynamite rating. He goes, AEW did 536K, a 0.15 on Wednesday, 5 p.m. on the West Coast is part of it, but it doesn't explain the entire drop. So we covered that. Shut out neckbeards. You go up here and Meltzer goes, network versus cable, so there's no real comparison. CW in more homes. But see, it's always just CW's in more homes. That's CW in more homes. But for those who want to argue it, and it's a silly one, it's 205,000.153 based on total universe, 0.37 TBS universe. Not like the PWT universe. We play flutes. Tony Khan to 201,000.150 total universe.
What?
It's just like, bro, you're in another universe, Dave.
There it is. Thank you. That's the answer.
Oh my God. And then this guy, AJ Leatherman, showed him out. He goes, according to Dave himself, the CW only has about 4% more homes than USA did. So I don't know why Dynamite versus NXT on USA was a completely fair comparison, but Dynamite versus NXT on CW somehow is apples and oranges. Right? Because Dave admits here, dude, how many homes have CW compared to USA Network? Think I remember it being a lot more households growing up, but don't know if that's still the case. Meltzer admits it, dude. It's 71 million to 68 million. So it's just a 4% difference, but he keeps going like, oh, it's in much more homes.
Well, broadcast.
I know, bro. It's so hilarious, and like people are just calling him out. Like, you don't even have to be a Meltzer said what anymore, bro. There's just people clipping. Everyone's doing their Meltzer bits now. JD's going off on Meltzer rats. Let him have it, man. You guys get it from the source here at PWT, but it's just amazing. Jade Cargill's hurt, and he's like, we got 3 different versions of the story. What? So then people made a bunch and told you some.
But they're 3 higher ups.
Yeah, it's so stupid. We already talked about this, so yeah, I don't want to listen to.
Are they higher ups or somebody in a Discord server?
So Dave Meltzer's dumbass destroys AEW one tweet at a time here. So Meltzer says network versus cable, so there's no real comparison. CW's in more homes, but for those who want to break it down, so yeah, basically it's just he doesn't realize that he's just stooging how AEW is just in the man. Like NXT is kicking its ass, period. So the more homes thing is like, okay, 4%, and then if we look at that 4%, like how many are watching NXT, there's a whole thing we could get into there. It's just picking, what's the old expression, right? We're splitting hairs here. Yeah, NXT. Yeah, that's the old express. Yeah, NXT is a better show, but that's
just what it is. I don't know what else to say.
So, Penta El Zero Mieto's AEW contract expires imminently, but Rey Fenix reportedly isn't being let out of his contract with injury time being added, despite there being no plans to use him. So, yeah, like obviously Dave has just been flat out told that there's no plans to use Fenix. Like, obviously, because why would he just say it so boldly? Like, and Tony and him just text. Like, we've covered it. We have it still in the bookmarks. Like, yo, these two guys text storylines back and forth and all of this sort of thing. So obviously,
Bryan confirmed that.
There's more of that. Yeah, there's more of that going on. Bryan Alvarez confirmed that himself from his own measly chicken lips, as Jim Cornette would say. Yeah, so we've chronicled that here. But either way, there's nothing new on Fenix. The last word is that he's not being let out of his contract, but they aren't going to use him either. What a baby back bitch, man. That is some right there. That's exactly what Tony Khan and them said they wouldn't do. And it is a goddamn shame that Fenix has just got to be dried up like Ricky Starks and Wardlow, just shelved up. Oh, the Fed wants you shelved up. You for Yelly. We're Tony Khan. So
Danhausen's Punk's friend, so there's no way he's getting back on television.
It's a bunch of man.
Yeah.
Meltzer tweets out in response to this Eric Wright guy, who Eric Wright says, yeah, AEW has the more popular station, the more watch station, and the bigger lead-in. But if we still want to bring up network versus cable, please don't leave out those key factors. Let's be fair. And then Meltzer goes, nobody knows the lead-in for CW because it's hundreds of different ones in every market. So you're making something up. Yeah, but Dave, the point is that where you just owned yourself, bro. This is so stupid. The point is that we know that the Big Bang's going to lead in with like 1 million almost every time, or 700,000 to 1 million. That's the difference. So even though it's different in every market, they're still kicking ass. Like how Dave doesn't understand, he's just digging the hole deeper, is hilarious. And he just said earlier to Disco, when I'm wrong, I don't dig my feet in and embarrass myself. It's exactly what he's doing. It's literally the literal thing he does better than anyone. Moving along. He gave this match, Mercedes and Statlander, 4.5 stars, man. More than Hogan and Rock.
You what? Did you just ask Tony,
sense.
what should I rate these matches before they go on?
Yeah. What's your rating? And I'll compare mine. Let's compare, and then we'll do the average, but then we'll like really go with mine if whatever.
We'll round up. We'll round up. Yeah. We'll round up.
Because then I won't cancel my subscription if you just let me do them. Well, you know what, Dave? I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength. Then we could just do them. I could just do them, and you can trust me. It's fair. I'm a senior. I'm a junior correspondent. Remember?
Because I secured the bag.
Yeah, I secured the bag. So Dave Meltzer on Cody Rhodes and Will Ospreay being the top two in the Wrestler of the Year conversation. So Meltzer says WWE is by far the dominant promotion. Cody Rhodes is drawing great. He won the world title on the biggest show of the year. He's defended it all year. He's been pushed hard. He's been drawing great. Record drawing. So I would say that by that standard, he's number one. The other one is that Will Ospreay had a better year this year than last year. So year? Like, what does that mean? What the f did he do last year? Name one house he drew last year. Name one match that people will go, that will be remembered forever, that he had last year, that compared to the level of what Cody's done. What is Dave talking about? It's like he hit 400 for a mid-level team. The other guy he hit 400 for how? What house did he draw? What rating did he get? So he did really cool flips in a match, and
he
that makes him
matches to Dave.
Yeah, so to Dave, like, you just care about moves. I know we've already confirmed that here at PWT, but you know, you're just an idiot. He hit 400 for a mid-level team. How is that possible? How? What did they do at all in any metric that's you could say, like, yeah, he hit 400, so he had good matches in your eyes, which is the majority of people think you're wrong. Stupid. Yeah, dude. So the other guy was the superstar quarterback for a championship team. You could argue either way. No, I don't think you can argue this at all.
You're comparing baseball and football, first off.
I think it's incomparable. I think Cody's had better matches as well. Overall, more memorable matches, better matches. I think he had moments with like AJ Styles and Leon. I think he's had the Roman Reigns thing. Some of these storylines, the stuff with The Rock. I mean, the Cody's been doing, man. He's on every show, sellout after sellout.
Every time, like, yeah.
Dude, he's had solid matches with everyone, and then you're just saying like Ospreay because he came in and was in like a casino battle royal or two, and then was in a couple triple threats or whatever, and then like it's so stupid, man. It's just not based. This is so detached from reality. It truly is.
Yeah. And then this 400 is just insane. The last time somebody hit 400 was like 1946. Like, so it doesn't
and then
happen.
Real Philly. That's what I'm saying, dude. And then Real Philly P here, the Phil with two L's, because he is always holding L's. He goes, Ospreay has had the best portfolio of matches any wrestler's had in a single year in history this year. He's number one. What the? And I go, no, he didn't. Wrestling Roman Reigns and The Rock automatically clears anybody from any other federation, period. The catalog or portfolio of matches. So, he had a great flippy match that drew nothing against Ricochet in a triple threat with Takeshita. And okay, let's say it drew 10,000 people. Great. Raw does more than that literally every Monday, and Cody will wrestle Carmelo Hayes, and it'll do that.
And Cody will wrestle the dark match on certain shows. He wasn't even on Raw. Like, the Raw was just here November 25th. I didn't go because it was like on the complete other side of the city. But and Cody came out for the dark match after the show went off the air and wrestled a match, and then did this whole like stay with the crowd thing again. He didn't. He wasn't even advertised for the damn show. I probably would have waited if I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, dude. He'll cook a promo segment with Gunther, whatever. Ospreay's promo segments aren't like blowing it away, grabbing ratings. There's nothing going viral. There's no heat or anything. There's nothing really. Him and Fletcher are cooking up, but people are more interested in Fletcher. Like, they're clearly pushing. They've been doing a better job booking Fletcher than Ospreay. They should have brought Ospreay in and did everything he's doing, but like with Fletcher. and he could have did all. They didn't even need to add it. So I don't know, man. I think it's to even compare this is actual insanity in my book, just objectively speaking. If you want to boil down quality of match, we could do that. Like I could sit there and look at every pay-per-view match Ospreay's had and every Cody match, and I could do that gladly. I would need a lot of super chats to waste my time going back and doing that. For real, it's like, man, but if you sickos want me to do that, and I'll give you an honest assessment if I think Ospreay's match is clear. But to be honest, man, some of Ospreay's matches with guys in TNA before he came to AEW cleared the ones he's doing now, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So I don't know, man. It is what it is, but that to me is just baffling. It's Cody number one, bar none. You can't even refute it. There's no argument. Yeah. Oh, he had great matches. In Dave's opinion, he did great physical flip matches, but what did any of them mean? And
Cody main evented both nights of WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you got to say.
Right there, exactly.
Biggest show of the year, both nights. Sold out house.
Then, so we continue along with like Discos and Meltzer's sicko war here, and Meltzer's like responding to some goober and saying, don't worry about him. He's completely transparent. They all are. Once the deal came, they either had to admit they were wrong or keep up their shtick, and none could admit they were clueless about the value of modern TV. Dude, Dave's such a sicko, and he's saying this cope. This is real life cope with Meltzer. I'm telling you right now. No, for real. Like this is the best example of cope, because he's just like, they all are. Once this deal came that we don't even know, they just said upwards 183 or 185 million, and that would not get them out of the red whatsoever. So for Dave, this TV deal, if they did a pay-per-view every week, he's been so wrong about this whole TV deal. Oh, people would have to admit they're wrong or keep up their shtick. Remember, guys, never, lest we forget that at this last TV deal around crunch time, what was Dave saying? It went to him talking all this confident to eventually going, oh, well, it is weird that they're not signing it yet. It's kind of crazy. And then the deal that got signed was nothing like he predicted. I was more accurate, and I'm not even the news. And Dave knew nothing about it. He was completely off on everything, right? And I just Frankenstein stitched together ideas I hear from other people. And then I go, okay, this is what I thought. I was pretty close on a lot of the money details wise, just taking shots in the dark. I don't know about that aspect of television and stuff. Meltzer doesn't either, though, is the point I'm trying to point out. I was more accurate. I don't know. I'm a dumb. This guy's like, I'm an expert. He was completely wrong, and he's gaslighting everyone himself. He's actually coping. This is cope, because he's not saying this to convince anyone. He's not convincing anyone. We all know he's full of shit, but he's saying this to like convince himself. They're transparent. No, you're transparent. That's projection. Keep up their shtick. That's what you're doing. Admit they were clueless. You're clueless. They're not going. They're not going to be this ultra profitable. Maybe after a few years, sure, but no, dude. It's just not. They're doing stadium shows that 15,000 people are going to show up to. Like, no. And then Glenn Gilberti responds and goes, Conan, here's Dave out of complete ignorance because he doesn't listen to our podcast, telling an easily verifiable lie about what we said on the podcast. And what Glenn's doing here too is kind of what Phil likes to do. He's throwing it back in Dave's face as far as like, he doesn't listen to our podcast, telling an easily verifiable lie. Like, that's what Meltzer does. Oh, you obviously don't read. You don't listen to everything, or else you would know. If you read every 5,000 word, you would know, right? So Conan
is your friend.
Yeah, Disco's kind of throwing that back in his face. Yeah. I feel that's the vibe I got, where he's
listening
like,
is your friend.
Yeah, like listening is your friend. He doesn't listen to our podcast, so he's telling a lie, just having fun with Meltzer, and Meltzer's a geek. So the wrestling V1, so that's 6 in Roman numerals, says Mr. Wrestling V1 says AEW do have to have a come to Jesus moment and kind of go like, there are things we got to change and change greatly. And the more they try to be WWE, the more that they'll fail. Dave Meltzer. So Dave is trying to convince everyone to, well, they can't go and be like WWE, because then that means I was wrong. But they need to go more like WWE. Now, I'm not saying become fully WWE, but you need to go more in that direction if you're trying to appeal to casuals and sell out stadiums. If you just want to be Hindi, no, not that. Sorry, I shut out my Hindi. But if you guys just want to be indie and do like what you're doing, If you just want to do what you're doing, fine, but make it an indie. Like, don't even put it on TV, upload it to YouTube, and then do pay-per-views, super pay-per-views once a month or once every 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah,
do a super indie pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and exactly. Just AEW, let Tony play on YouTube and go ahead and do that. And then you won't get criticized, right? But it's
exactly.
But like, if you want to do stadiums and all that, yeah, you gotta WWE it up. And Meltzer's like, the more they WWE it up, the more they die. No, that's not it. It's that it's too little too late, bro. It's that they're not cooking. They brought in WWE guys. We gave it a chance. Finally, Mox can be Mox. Vince isn't people up. We can see it happen. Rusev's over there. He can finally just be Miro, the crusher we all want him to be. He doesn't got to get cucked out and stuff. Shout out YouTube. Right? And then they just fumbled it. They did it all up. And so that's where the bad faith is. Like, Hurt Syndicate can do whatever. They can be brilliant. No one cares. John Cena could go to AEW. No one cares. Dave double standard. Cody, he talked about his Mania win, the draw, the push, etc. Ospreay, better year than the last. No further explanation required. Dude, exactly. That's exactly what it is, dude. He doesn't have to quantify that in any way. And that's what I was saying. Like, how do you quantify that? Physicality in matches and cool moves in matches. Okay. If you want me to, I can break down what matches are better, and I'll give you my criteria of what I think good wrestling is. And then we can compare. You know, that's the only way to do these things. But Dave, I'm the observer, but he just thinks his is objective and the truth. It's really not saying mine is either, but I don't give dumb ratings. I just react to stuff, you know? Here's what Dave said about Jade Cargill's reported injury.
Oh, God.
So we saw his written take. Here's his verbal diarrhea, dumb take. I'm so excited. Let's refresh our brains with a quick Dave Meltzer flute here for this moment, because it's another one. Here's Dave.
Jade Cargill is out for a while. She is legitimately injured, hence the injury angle on SmackDown. And likely tag titles will be stripped. Tournament.
They almost have to be. I was told 3 months minimum. The other thing is, whatever the actual injury is being kept very secret, because, you know, I've heard from several in the company who are aware of the injury, and they say not only do they not know what the injury is, but people who are very close to her don't even know.
So it's probably not even a real injury. Have you ever thought about that? Like, have you guys ever stopped and just thought, like, you know, just not an injury, maybe?
It's an angle. Oh my God.
Or it's not as bad. It's like a sprained ankle, and they're like, all right, well, let's write her off, keep her healthy, because we need Jade for the Rumble or whatever.
Right.
For whatever reason, you know, what the actual injury is not well known.
They had a list of about 95 different things that they had diagnosed her with in storyline. And one of them, I believe, was a torn meniscus.
Yeah.
And I swear they're like trolling Dave with that too, when they're like, when they post 95 different things, like Alvarez said, because that's what they did. And that immediately made me go, well, then this is fake. She has maybe one of those injuries, probably not even, and she's just going to go film a Super Bowl commercial or whatever.
Seriously.
Yeah. Like, come on now, dude. She's doing some Netflix promo or something. Like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. I mean, I have no clue what's going through these guys' minds, but they just confirmed it was an injury. So she is legit injured, and then they go in and talk about, Dave clarifies, and no, we were told 12 different stories that we don't know. What? Then what are you guys, like, a couple of goobers right here? That's why I don't give Alvarez a pass still. Like, he goes back at Meltzer.
He's collecting the money too. He's collecting the money too.
Yo, the hyenas would fight with each other in Lion King. I don't like any of those babble melt either. Right? You know what I mean? So,
as if that was the injury, only because that is like a minimum 3 months, and depending on the severity of the tear,
and severity, it could be longer.
Yeah, it could be longer. It could be 3 months. So
yeah.
These idiots.
I don't know why that would be a big secret, but
I don't know why either. I don't know why.
I don't know why it could possibly be a big secret around the Royal Rumble time. Why would it be a big secret? This injury that could be a worker kayfabe, and they told us it's real, but then we got 5 different stories and we can't confirm it's real. I wonder why they do that. Oh, maybe because we'll leak the story and tell everyone. And they want to keep it under wraps because maybe it's like a film project or something to do with Netflix or something to do with a Super Bowl, and there's NDA signed and we can't know about it. It's great. Idiots.
This injury is a secret, because it's like if you're doing a story and
hey, her husband's a famous baseball guy, reality show, Netflix, maybe they're doing who knows, bro? Like,
seriously,
it's just take it that it's a fake. We're talking wrestling here, brother.
You got worked, bro.
Yeah, you got work, bro. They keep working you, dude.
The story is that, it's not an injury, even though it's an injury, then yeah, you want to keep secret what the injury is. But if you're telling everyone she's got a torn.
Why? Everyone on social media tells everyone, and they post pictures of their surgeries, and they tell everyone what their real injuries are in pro wrestling nowadays, because that legitimizes what they do a little bit. Instead of hiding them to wrestle through hurtness, fans know, oh, wrestlers get hurt for real, and like that. So Dave, it's just like he's just. I love Dave when he this version of Dave. These moments where he's like just discovering wrestling. It's like, bro, haven't you been covering this since like the 80s? Before I ever even was born, you've been covering this with a newsletter, and like you're just figuring out what a work shoot injury is, bro.
Did you believe Dusty Rhodes broke his leg too?
Yeah.
Like in public, and then in private, it's like no one's allowed to know what her injury is. It's kind of
so like in public, on their public TV show, where they're telling everyone a narrative that they want them all to follow to, advance the television show and to get them ratings and stuff like that. It's like, so publicly on their social media, which also they use to play into their television storylines because they integrate them both. So publicly they said 19 injuries, but behind the scenes we can't even figure out one. So maybe behind the scenes there isn't one, Dave, and you're just a little child getting work still, but we're all idiots who don't know about the business and number 2 promotions and Tony Khan.
What's the point if you've already... I mean, out of all those injuries,
what's the point? Royal Rumble, an NDA that she signed for some she's filming. I just gave you 2 points right there.
Dave, with all this, JYD was really blinded. Rikishi didn't run over Austin. The chat's just killing me, dude.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, Vince didn't really die, bud.
Yeah, right. Kane and Undertaker aren't brothers. Paul Bearer was nobody's.
Yeah. Kane and Undertaker aren't brothers. Did you know that? I love that version of Dave, man, where he's like just discovering. Oh, did you know? Edge and Christian weren't related,
right?
Probably 2 of them, or 1 or 2 of them, are probably the real one, but I don't know which 1 or 2.
1 or 2 of them are probably the real one.
I don't know which 1 or 2.
So you said that you got 3 completely different stories, but 1 or 2 of them are the real one. So how could 2 completely different stories be the one real one, you idiot? It's crazy. And Dave doesn't realize. Here's the thing. Dave's like, oh, the bubble and all these. Dave.
Oh, God.
Bro, like they told you 3 different things, so you don't stooge the real thing, which is that she's not really hurt, and you're an idiot and think you actually know, and it is hilarious, and you have the audacity to talk about irrelevant, transparent
audacity of this bitch,
bro.
Saturday's main event is Cody and Kevin Owens for the title,
and the finals of the women's U.S. title tournament as well. Yeah, they officially announced that today too.
Well, they officially announced that today. Tony
Khan. That was not a secret as much.
That was not a secret as much. If you tuned into the show, you know, it's not really news.
Good God.
So here's man, I love this. Meltzer responds to Eric Bischoff. Okay. And this will be the last one here for the Meltzer dumb moment of the week. He goes off, right? Dynamite, Dave Meltzer. And this was sent directly to me from Meltzer said what? He says that he's so deep in Eric's head and questions if Ariel Helwani or Bischoff are on the payroll.
Oh, my God. Projections.
The literal guy who's on the payroll.
You what?
The press secretary of AEW accusing anyone else of anything is pure hilarious.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Bro, listen.
I'm not sure I'm ready for this.
Do this. Okay. This is such gold, bro.
Okay. I got to be ready for this one.
Yeah.
All right. So NXT, this is all I know. We got X-Pac appearing. We've got Eric Bischoff mediating a face-to-face with Trick and Ridge Holland.
By the way, did you see Eric Bischoff on Ariel Helwani's show?
I did not watch it, Dave.
I didn't.
I heard about it. I did not watch it.
So they both just said they didn't watch it.
Right? Like, so what's your analysis then? You've heard about it. Great.
So the first thing they admit they didn't watch it, but they're accusing people of being on payrolls and being in heads. Meanwhile, Eric literally goes, I don't even think about AEW unless I'm asked the question. And he's like, I don't pay it no mind. Like, I used to care and I used to get angry because of the opportunity they had, but now I just don't give let them. I'm just going to make fun of it because it's funny. And that's where a lot of us are at. We're like, well, yeah, we'll just make fun of the parody of wrestling now. So Dave, oh my good God, he didn't even watch it at all. And he's about to, this is amazing.
I heard about it too. Yeah.
You want to tell everyone?
What? He said there's no chance AEW's dead. I don't remember what else he said.
No chance.
Yeah.
They are dead.
They're dead. They're dead. They're gonna.
Yeah, there's no chance of them turning it around, is what he said, Meltzer. There's no chance of him turning it around, right? So I think that's objectively obvious at this unless Tony gets out of the way, they will never give anyone any sense of hope, and that's what Bischoff said. As long as Tony's running it, it'll never, it's dead. So they just saw the headline, and that's what Meltzer does. Oh, backlashes in the Tokyo Dome. Actually, it was a fake tweet. So he could have read Wrestle Votes again and just got one quote from Bischoff's thing. You don't even know what you're hearing in context. You're an idiot, bro.
Saying this right before ending.
Of course I can imagine.
Of course I can imagine it. Of course I can imagine them turning it around because I have investments in it.
Of course I can imagine it. I don't know. I actually probably should have watched to see what Eric.
Oh, you think you probably should have watched Dave the thing before you? Yeah, and then give your comments and your rebuttal here.
Response was, I mean, in a worst case,
this guy might be on the damn payroll.
Who, Eric or Ariel?
Jesus.
Of course he's on the payroll. He's on the
Eric is on the payroll, is what Bryan said.
Appearance is not being on the payroll. He was on AEW shows too.
Tony Khan. Yes, Tony Khan's hired him. Oh my God, he's on the payroll for MLW, who sued WWE for $20 million and won.
Right,
and he's working for MLW. Bischoff's doing a one-shot with them.
Fee.
Oh my God, man, they've lost it. They've lost touch with reality fully, man. And Alvarez, see, this is why I know people are like, oh, I give Alvarez a pay. Even Paul James Nolan's like, I like that Alvarez standing up for himself. No, man, and I love you, Paul. I love everyone in the PWT universe, even if you disagree with me here, but I don't give him a pass because it's like, no. You're saying like this, Eric's on the payroll. Are you guys on the AEW payroll? You guys say that and you assert this, but it's so asinine if people say the same about you goobers.
Show tomorrow night. He's on the show tomorrow night, of course. Yeah. But I mean, geez, like there's problems there, but I mean, worst case scenario, they're going to make a $45 million profit.
Worst case scenario.
Dave, we do not need to explain to our audience that they are not dead. I think they're well.
We don't have to explain they're not dead. Yeah, they're dead creatively, bro. They're dead creatively, and you don't need to explain to your audience how they're not dead. But you still feel the urge to. For some reason, this irks you. And it's because you guys know what everyone means. It's dead to rights. Like, it's dead. Yes, money can keep some alive, dude. If I lost, okay. How do we explain this? Have you ever seen Bar Rescue, right? So there's bars that are like packed full and still, but the clubs ran and they're losing 20 grand a month and they've been open for 2 years. I've lost 3 million. And it's like, you guys get it, right? Like, yeah, man. Tony has infinite bucks. He has the infinite money cheat code on GTA.
Right.
And what he can do is just keep spending and spending and spending. And then the TV deal will make them profitable. There's absolute zero proof of that. And until Dave shows any proof of that, besides his blabber mouth,
right,
that makes no sense. We're not listening
numbers
to that.
He makes up.
Yeah, and so Tony, he can just spend and spend and spend. Shad can spend and spend as long as there's cars on planet Earth. They'll make money because bumpers go on them or whatever, right? So, yeah, as long, chat's so goated tonight, dude.
It's so great, man. Just every time I look up, it's a different storyline that I remember. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Chuck and Billy weren't gay. Yeah.
This didn't get eaten by zombies. Ultimate Warrior was from parts that were known. Yeah, Lucy killed me with the Ultimate Warrior was actually from parts that were known. That one got me really good. That one really got me.
No one did it with Katie Vick.
Right? Yeah. Just Dave, you just believe in bull. Like,
Undertaker isn't undead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason Dave's saying this, the reason Dave's saying this is because it's projection. We've covered it ad nauseum. He's Eric's in his head. It's stewing. It drives Dave nuts that everyone doesn't just bow down and be like, "Oh my God, we're all just calling him on it." We see it with these sociopathic weirdos,
seriously,
and especially Dave here. And
he's the king of them.
Yeah, and like until we see proof, I don't want to hear no about profitable or any of that, making money. Right. And that doesn't mean making money as well. Doesn't mean that the product's good. The reason people that's what people do with WWE. And I'm not saying making money. Like obviously, if you're making, I don't believe AEW is making money. First and foremost, we have to put that on the table. So making money means like bringing money in, however you want to quantify that. It doesn't matter if they gave them $2 billion. That just means someone sees that value in AEW or whatever. It doesn't mean it can come to fruition. For example, yes, WWE's raking in all this money, and the reason people use that as a metric to quantify, no, this is what, look, they're doing better ticket sales, TV deal, whatever. But the reason Meltzer's so obsessed with like, oh, the number 2 companies is because he can now, AEW can't beat WWE. He has to accept that. He has to lay down. He can't even beat NXT. But it made more money than WCW did at one point, and now he's just moving the goalpost, and Eric's in his head so much it has to be, well, it beat ECW and WCW, so it's still the best. It's great. Did better than TNA, so it's the best. It was, so that's all they can hang on now, and it's just a shift of the goalpost. It's gaslighting. And it's also projection because he stooges himself by talking to secondary promotions, blah, blah, blah. Why are you even talking about that? Why are you talking about that? Because
challenger brand.
You're right. And because it's Eric Bischoff now, is like they're focused. They're so dead set on proving like, well, we stayed alive longer than Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain or OVW. Like that's what they care about more. They don't care about actually competing with WWE or listening to fans or anything like that. The illusion that they're selling, right, is like, oh yeah, we're competing, we're actually a challenger. They're really not, especially at this juncture. And until we see proof of any profitability, I don't buy it. And Dave with this smug prick ass attitude, it's complete and utter. And we're calling it out here. This is why you get flutes. And like, man, we don't need to explain. They're not dead. Yeah, they're not dead. They're dead creatively. They're dead interest wise. They're dead heat wise. They're dead marketability or even profitability for that matter. Oh no, the profit's gone on what metric? The TV deal that we don't have any proof of anywhere. We haven't seen $1 made. We haven't seen it go in the green. So like I said before, as long as cars exist, as long as bumpers need to go in vehicles, they will have money to just put into whatever they're doing. The Jaguars can go 2-9. Fulham can fluctuate and suck and be the worst team ever. And AEW can pay a bunch of people to show up in empty buildings, and they can keep doing that. And that's the objective reality. And the reason we can use it for WWE is because we can point to a correlation and a causation. So we can go, look, because of the good creative, the houses are better, right? Tony's got bad creative. That's the key core criticism right there. Okay. That's the paramount criticism of Tony Khan is the creative's bad. AEW, the creative's bad. So because the creative's bad, we go, oh, they don't tell stories. Oh, look, they're telling stories. No, but they're stories, right? You don't get what we mean. Like, no, it's an expression. We mean like the nothing of substance, you idiots. They're all like Amelia Bedelia literal. Oh, did you know that Edge and Christian actually weren't brothers? I know the chat was just lighting it up with a million of those. Yeah. But did you know that Kamala wasn't from Uganda? Actually, he can actually speak English. Like he wasn't a cannibal. It's like, what the man? So it's just embarrassing. I know I'm ranting and raving here. I gotta bury Dave before he wraps this up because it's just like, look, dude, there's no evidence to anything he's saying, and we can just look at objective things, and you can't use the WWE thing because what we're showing you, the creativity equals the big houses and all that. The bad creativity is equaling the bad houses and all that in AEW. Oh, but the TV deal makes them profitable more than WCW. I don't believe that. And also, why does that matter? They're the number 2 challenger brand ever of all time for wrestling history. That should be noted. I mean, sure, dude, if you want to get down, sure, if that makes you feel better and sleep at night, Dave, sure. There's no even evidence to anything you're saying. Anyways,
none of it.
He said something really stupid.
Completely.
And it's not stupid to say that how you guys have botched Here's the thing. They're trying to take Bischoff to task. We didn't even listen to it, but he said something stupid. Okay, why didn't you take Meltzer to task for saying people were dead when they weren't dead? They're just incredulous.
Completely stupid. Yeah. I mean,
let's see if he brings it up during this face-to-face that he's mediating.
Oh, with Trick and
Ridge Hall.
He's going to bring you two marks up.
Right?
Jabronis.
Yeah. I'm so deep in his head, he may start, oh, Dave Meltzer do this and that, and do this. Blah, blah.
See,
yeah.
I'm so in his head. Meanwhile, you're doing whole book reports, writing whole Bibles and chapters and verses on secondary promotions and all this because he's so in your head, and he's so in your head, and you're such a narcissistic, sociopathic Meltzer that you think he was going to go on NXT and talk about you.
Bischoff did that interview from an IHOP, and Dave and
I know, care. Dude. He did it in like an airport or something. It was
seriously. Like he didn't care. He was like, "Sure, I'll jump on, whatever. I don't care." And he answered the questions he was asked. He doesn't care about you, Dave. Nobody does.
And yeah, dude, that right there was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. And we'll drop an E flute for 5K subs, man. Thank you all for being.